Is it time to create something different with your life and your body? Right Body for You will inspire you and invite you to a different way of creating the body and the life you truly desire. Ready? Let's go. Here's your host, Donnielle.
And welcome, everybody, to Right Body for You. Oh, I've missed you guys. I know it may have only been a week since I talked to y'all or more. Who knows? Time isn't real. But I so love enjoying spending each week with you guys. It is part of my favorite hours of the week, whether you're listening now, in the future, or in the past. Because like I said, time isn't real, so who knows? You could be listening in the past. And today, it's an interesting show. Like I said, welcome to Right Body for You. If you haven't figured it out, I'm your host, Donnielle. Welcome to a different kind of radio show with a different kind of host. Self-proclaimed energy's bitch, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But Right Body for You explores not just things that are going on with your body, but also your life. You know, I spent all of my life, really, with a body. I know, shocking revelation there, but it's true. I've spent my entire life with my body and my entire life with my life. I know. So, you know, besides the actual study and coursework and all those other kind of things, I've been exploring this life and body that I've been creating all ever since I can remember. And what's really interesting about this is I've really discovered that there is a correlation between my body and my life and my life and my body. And let me say straight out, I'm not saying if I have a good-looking body and it looks good, then I have a good life. And, well, of course you have a good life because you have a good-looking body. It's not at all what I'm talking about. Your body can be a contribution to your life, whether size, shape, or health level. And for those of you who are thinking you're hearing extra giggling, that would be our dear friend Christine Kyver, which I always say her last name wrong. I know she's going to, brand me with it one of these days. I asked Christine to join us. So the extra giggling is our dear Christine.
Hi.
But there is this correlation between your body and your life. You know, your body gives you so much information that to help you know more about your life, to know what to do, how to be, where to go. So it's more than what your body looks like or even feels like. It's about what your body actually contributes to your life. And so, you know, that's why I'm like, Right Body for You is about your body, but it's also about your life. And that's true whether it's a Right Body for You workshop or a private session or anything like that. It's not just about your body. It's about your life. And this morning I started off my day very early. The sun wasn't even up yet. But I started off my day with Christine. She did this open mic thing for Inspired Choices Network. And as you know, Inspired Choices Network is where we are. And if you didn't know, welcome to Right Body for You on Inspired Choices Network. And thank you for being here. And Christine is, you know, she's a dear friend. She does her own show, and she's a station owner, which is, you know, it's a pretty nice little trifecta there. But so Christine and I had so much fun this morning, and what was funny is my show kind of started on that show. And so I asked Christine, I'm like, hey, come on my show. Let's just continue playing. And so she said, okay. So thank you, Christine, for coming on and joining us today.
I'm laughing because all the voices of Donnielle, I don't know if people are really hearing all the changes, but it's awesome. And I'm really happy to be here again because it was a fun conversation.
It really, really was. You know, it was one of those moments, and we talked a little bit earlier about me being energy's bitch. And, you know, Christine asked me to describe it because on the show this morning, she said what was inspired to me. And, you know, I just said something. And I can't remember what it was. It was something about...
It was, I'll tell you. Hold on.
Oh.
It was being something in the world that is enough to inspire someone else to ask a question that creates more possibilities.
Right, that was part of it. Yeah, I remember it was living a life you enjoy. That was
living a life you enjoy.
Living a life that inspires other people to ask questions about the possibilities for more, something like that. But that first part was about living the life you enjoy, which is funny that that's the part that nobody heard, living a life that you enjoy. It's like I can inspire others and be miserable at the same time because that's the way it's been taught to do. Well, what if there's another possibility, right? And so the show this morning really started the show today, which is, are you using judgment to get out of judgment? Okay. And, it's, when Christine and I kind of started talking about this earlier, we really do that. We're told, getting out of judgment is a good thing. Get out of judgment. And you're like, okay, I can get out of judgment. You're right. Getting out of judgment would be good. Okay. Am I judging now? I bet I am. Okay, well, I'm judging 10% less than I was yesterday. Okay, good. Am I judging now? Oh, crap, I am. Oh, I'm so bad. I got to be better at this. Well, guess what, folks? You know what all of that stuff is? It's judgment. We so often do that. We use judgment trying to get out of judgment, which, do we ever wonder why sometimes it doesn't actually work then, or why we decide to give up? And I loved in the description. I must have been in a funny mood, Christine, when I wrote the description, because I'm like, when we do it that way, what we're using judgment to determine if we're judging or not. And I put head slap, like an emoji in the parentheses. I'm like, welcome to the inside of my head, outside of my head sometimes. But I'm here to say getting out of judgment of ourselves and our bodies without judgment is possible. And like I said, I asked Christine to join me because we had fun talking this morning. So I thought, hey, you know what, let's continue this on and see where we can go with this. Because one of the things right at the end, Christine and I were talking about, and I said something to the effect of, we do this. We do this head flip, this head rotation cycle of, am I judging now? Am I judging now? Am I judging now? How about now? Christine, am I judging now? 10% less.
Which you're judging that you're doing better.
Exactly. See, that's why this is what kind of made everything go peak this morning, was it's like, holy crap, we do this where we try to use judgment to get out of judgment and to judge if we're doing better or less. Because even if you're saying, I'm doing better, cool, well, you're still judging yourself as not doing well, or that better itself is actually a judgment, which is just kind of a cluster. So you can see how people started having problems with this, right? It's like, oh yes, being judgment-free would be great. What does that look like? And then you start to use judgment to determine what that would even look like.
It's just a trip up, like you're tripping yourself.
Yeah. And so I get it. And that's kind of why I really wanted to talk about this show and do this show, is to really help people first get the energy that it's possible. Because as Christine knows, and all of you know, because I do claim this all the time, I use the tools of Access Consciousness and Right Body for You. I use the tools. Trust me, I'm not sitting here going, I am judgment-free. I never judge. I don't use judgment to get out of judgment. I'm just sitting here. No, I use the tools. Most of the shows come out of what the crazy crap I did to myself usually, or my body. So the first part of this is really to get the energy that judgment-free life is possible. I don't know anybody on the planet yet that's doing it, and I know a lot of people who have very little judgment in their universe. And what was interesting, what was one of my first indications that I was using judgment to get out of judgment was Gary Douglas is the founder of Access Consciousness. And So when I first met Gary, I was very uncomfortable being around him. And I didn't know why. I thought I was just insecure and shy, whatever, And I literally ran from the room the first time he really looked at me. We'd said hi or whatever, but if you've ever had Gary Douglas actually just look at you, it kind of like that my cat looking at me on the Facebook this morning. Those of you who haven't checked out my right?
Oh my gosh.
Those of you
best picture ever.
Go to my Facebook page, Donnielle Carter. And the last 10 minutes of the radio show with Christine this morning, I hadn't fed my cat. And she was very, very insistent that I feed her. So it's kind of like when Gary Douglas looks at you like that. I literally ran out of the room, like if he's actually seeing me. And then I was like asking questions. I'm like, why am I so uncomfortable around Gary? What am I? Just, being a little freakazoid. And then I remember in my head, I didn't actually say this to him because he would have probably just laughed at me, but I remember in my head going, oh my gosh, will you judge me so I know how to be and do? And I went, oh, wow, that's interesting. So that's the space of somebody with very little judgment. And I was waiting. My uncomfortableness wasn't because it was Gary Douglas, founder of Access Consciousness, or I was being insecure or freakazoid, which, freakazoid just is my natural state, I think, but it wasn't because of the insecurities. When he wasn't judging me, I didn't know how to react, which what that tells me is I was still using judgment to know what not in judgment was supposed to look like and if I was judging or not. And I'm like, wait a minute. I need somebody or something to judge me so I know how to judge myself. And I'm like, wait a minute, where else am I doing this? I'm like, oh, everywhere. And this was really my first part of being the awareness of how we use judgment to get out of judgment, which doesn't actually work because then we're still in judgment, right?
Yeah.
I don't. Have you ever done anything like that, Christine? I'm sure no, right?
Me?
No.
Perfect, innocent,
no.
immaculate me? No. I'm kidding.
But I'm in the USA, not Canada.
Not in the last 5 minutes. I haven't. Does that count? Wait a minute. I'm judging myself. Hold on. I think I just did it again.
But you can see how this is. That's what's so funny about this whole thing. Funny, ha, as in, that's so funny, I just want to sit and cry, funny.
Right.
But you see how this has become prevalent. Well, and, this reality tells us, find what's wrong and fix it. So that's what we do. We find what's wrong. And how do we find what's wrong? Through judgment. Okay. So what if there's another way? Please tell me there's another way. Yes. Yes, there is.
Tell us. all the self-judges are pleading with your awareness. God, give us a bone here, girl.
Well, we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, I'm going to share with you guys some of the tools I use to change this on a daily basis. Okay, because like I said, I use the tools, Christine uses the tools, we use the tools. Those of us who do radio shows are usually, this is how I use the tool and change my life. So you might use it this way too. This is the fun and joy of it, is that we get to share with you some of the tools that are changing our life. So when we get back, I will begin to share with you some of the tools that has actually helped me change this programming that we seem to have of using judgment to get out of judgment, which actually just puts us further in judgment, and we wonder why we're chasing our tail on that. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right, this is Donnielle with Christine, my guest today. Hello. On Right Body for You on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions, or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle@accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle. Today I am joined by Christine. I'm not even going to attempt to say your last name. See, I always think I'm saying it right, but apparently I'm not. I don't have enough in there.
It's okay. You gotta get your "k" in. Ivor.
Right? I just don't spit enough. I'm not Italian or Irish enough or something. I don't know.
You're hilarious.
So I could never learn Hebrew.
Is that it?
I don't know. Who knows? Welcome to Right Body for You, different type of radio show with a different type of host and different type of guest. Just saying. Somebody who wants to spit at you when they say their name. Today we're talking about judgment. Do we use judgment to get out of judgment? Yes, quite often, a lot. This is what this reality has taught us, is to find what's wrong and fix it, or to measure how well you're doing something and how much you need to improve. And all of this is about judgment. If you compare your, because for me, if you compare yourself to what you were yesterday and determining your good parts or bad parts, you're doing judgment of yourself, my friends, which hopefully some of these tools can help you to stop doing that as much. But then please don't go, okay, well, I think I was judging myself less yesterday, or I'm really judging myself bad right now, because it's just judgment. And here's one of the things that's kind of gonna throw, and just maybe you guys might throw something, is not all of this is verbal. I wish I could say it was completely verbal. Say these magic words and everything will change. And really, because it's about the energy. Sometimes it can be the exact same words, but it's the energy behind it, which is one of the reasons I asked, Christine to join me today. Well, first of all, to make sure I'm making sense, because sometimes I say words, I'm like, it totally makes sense, right? And people are looking at me like, language are you speaking? um,
True.
And
I've been one of those people many times. I give her the my eyes are squinted, my head's tilted like a dog going, huh? What?
Yeah. I think I'm making sense, and I'm not. But really just to show you that so much of this is about the energy of it. And having a conversation with another person could really facilitate this towards that, because you can say, am I judging myself? Am I judging myself? And you can have the energy of judgment with it, or you can not have the energy of judgment with it. So one of the first things, and we kind of mentioned this morning on the radio show, is one of the first things is really to start becoming aware of energy. The energy you're being, the energy you're playing with, shifting with, the energy that's coming up, yes, with the words that you are using. And one of the first things to become more aware of that energy is to really start trusting yourself. Okay? And I know this is one of those places where a lot of people run away screaming or run off to a corner and cry. Is like, trust myself. No, I'm the most untrustworthy person in the world. Well, let me make you guys all happy. I'm the most untrustworthy person in the world. So you're more trustworthy than I am. Congratulations. You're not the most untrustworthy person in the world. Which, that was a joke, folks.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Like, whoa.
Okay, I have a question that's screaming that wants me to ask. Sorry, I'm picking up on other people, obviously. Okay, yes. So what is wrong? I'm going to say it in the voice that's in my head. Why can't I judge myself that I'm doing good? Right? Like, why is it wrong to judge that I finally got it right?
That's, well, a couple of reasons, and yes, thank you. And just by defining what's right or wrong, it's a judgment. You're creating a separation from actually who you were yesterday. And who you were yesterday wasn't a wrongness. It's just who you were yesterday. Okay? So when it's like, yesterday I was bad, today I'm good. You're using judgment to define energies. Yesterday I was wrong, today I'm right. You're using judgment to define energies. And when you define energies and use judgment, because one of the things about judgment most, you guys, judgment creates separation. You know, it's like, look at it as if you have a blank wall, right? And I don't even say I want a blank wall.
Like a clean slate?
So, like, yeah, but I don't want it to have any form or structure or separation to it. So say like, you know, it's your full universe. You can see everything. Everything out there is everything is possible. Okay? And so let's say, oh, well, I was a bad person yesterday, and yesterday as a bad person, what I was doing was I was swearing. Okay, so as a bad person, I am swearing. So what I'm going to do in this big expanse of my universe is I'm going to put a door there and put all of swearing behind it, because swearing is obviously bad. And so I'm going to create a door. Poof. And that's basically what you do with your judgment, is you create a door and you create a separation to that part of yourself. So every time you do a separation, basically you're putting up walls and doors to this flat expanse of the universe that you are, and all that able to see everything. So anybody ever stand in like one room? Can you see into the next room? No, not if there's a wall there. And so when you judge, you start to miss becoming aware of things, and you start to separate from possibilities in the universe, because you've created all these doors and walls in this in your universe by all the judgments you're doing.
So judgment actually perpetrates tunnel vision.
Yeah, completely. yes, judgment cuts off. That's honestly one of the worst things about judgment is that it cuts you off from any awareness, any possibilities. And when I mean awareness, I mean like looking through a keyhole instead of looking at an open expanse. And what's funny was when we choose to do this, because it's like, say there's a keyhole just hanging in the space of, there's no wall, there's no door, anything, there's just a keyhole. And when we're choosing judgment, we look through the keyhole, even if the universe or a friend is sitting there tapping you on the shoulder going, if you didn't put your eye up to the keyhole, you could see everything else. No, I must look through the keyhole. Okay, but if you just took a step back, you see everything. No, I must look through the keyhole. And so we do
Can
that.
I just pull on a thread? Can I pull on a thread? You said that judgment cuts you off from any awareness or possibility. So if we're judging X, are we not aware of X?
Are you fully aware of X? Or are you only aware of what you've decided and judged about it?
So we're only aware of the keyhole vision of X as opposed to the expansive universe of X.
Exactly. And when we're asking to change things, we already know the full extent of how we're judging ourselves with it. And as long as we're looking through the judgment, that's all we'll ever see. So when you're not looking at judgment and using judgment to change something, you can actually see what is possible of how to change it or what to change, because you're stepping beyond your judgments or what you've decided and concluded about it. Because everything you decided and concluded about or judged about it, which is all the same word or different words for the same energy, you literally can't see any other possibility. So when we're using judgment to get out of judgment, all we're doing is reinforcing the wrongness or even the rightness of what we decided about ourselves yesterday. Because think about it, it's like, well, I'm better today than I was yesterday. Because remember, you asked about that a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. You're using what yesterday's judgment was, that's all you're aware of, to determine if you're better or worse today. Instead of the full scope of what's possible, you're just looking at maybe 1% and judging against that.
I have a really funny visual. Do you want to hear it?
Please.
This is how my brain operates, guys. So you're looking at your judgment through that keyhole with your right eye, and then suddenly you have a keyhole that matches up to your left eye, but you're still only seeing the small keyhole sections, even if through the judgment. Sorry. And then I've got black around my eyes, so I don't know what's on those keyholes, but they're dirty.
Well, that's because I'm a jokester, and I went and colored in magic marker around the keyholes because I knew you'd look through it, and then you have the black marker around your eye. If you do that,
being a friend is a dirty job with you.
That would be me. Or some people might not have two keyholes. Some people are like me, where you just close one eye and look through the other one.
Okay, I'm not that talented, obviously. Okay, sorry. I know. But that's just where my brain went.
But do you get where I'm going with, like, why the big thing about judgment really is it cuts off awareness. And awareness basically is like it cuts off of what you know. Plain and simple. Not like, oh, you know everything. I mean, like, freaking what you know. Because I know there are some people who live in one place all of their life, which is not a problem. I'm not saying it's bad. But, like, I used to live in this city, and there was a river down the middle of the city. Some people never crossed the river. And so the only thing they knew to create their lives from was in like a 5-mile radius around them. Mm-hmm. And that in essence is like what judgment does, is it keeps us in that like 5-mile radius, and then that's what we know, and we know, well, we're better than that or worse than that, instead of actually being able to go, wow, there is all this out there. Okay, so literally it's about cutting you off from what you know, because judgment goes, this is it, nothing else matches. This is it. So
that
judgment is a
visual
killer
is awesome.
of possibility. Cool.
That
Thank
visual
you.
is awesome. That's cool. Keyholes were fun, but that one makes more sense.
Well, and it depends, and that's why I like talking with different people and explaining it each time different. Because some people are like, "Oh, keyhole doors, yeah." Some people are like, "Where I live, yes."
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then somebody else is going, "I still don't get it. What are you talking about?" Like, okay, say you live in a bubble. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Somebody
I can
probably
pull another
does.
one on my butt.
So, Donnielle,
know.
how do we begin to get out of this?
I'm glad you asked. We're going to take a quick little break.
Okay.
Because the wise old computer that I'm looking at tells me that I have, a break coming up. So we're going to take a quick little break. And when we come back, we're going to start talking about this. Now that we hopefully have a muddy picture of, clear as mud. I love to say that in my classes. I'll be like, clear as mud? They're like, yes. I'm like, okay, good. We're going to start talking about some of these tools, and hopefully in the explanation of some of these tools, we start to begin to see where something else is possible, okay? All right. Cool. So this is Donnielle, special guest Christine, the other giggle person on the phone. We're on Right Body for You on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Check out the new ringtones from Access Consciousness.
What is it possible? What is it possible? Smoking hot. Smoking hot.
And everyone's favorite,
Take a pass. Take a pass.
download the latest and hottest accessory. Go to accessconsciousness.com/ringtones for all the details on how to download to your iPhone today.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle@accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle. I am the voice in your head. And the giggle with me would be Christine, who does her own show, as well as the station owner. I asked her to join me today to, help create something. I was going to say sanity in my world, but I don't think there is sanity in my world. We just had so much fun this morning, I thought it would be fun to continue on with it. So I'm like, Christine, come play.
Amen.
Yes. She's a fun freak, so she decided to join in. But before we get too far,
fun freaks.
Yes.
Oops, was that judgment? Sorry, that's my head.
I'd be an awareness.
Okay, cool.
But we're getting ahead. Our jokes are getting ahead of us. But I wanted to invite you guys to a special class. I don't think I've talked about it on the radio show yet. But I wanted, because I do these 2.5-day workshops of Right Body for You, and they're amazing. Please check out my website, Donnielle.com. We have so much fun in them. And I really wanted to take the class to the next level. So for the first time ever in Right Body for You or Access Consciousness history, this new class called Right Body for You, the Tools in Action. And it's once this year. It's in September, giving you guys plenty of time to plan. It's in September. And what I am doing is helping you take the tools from a classroom setting out into the world in real lifetime scenarios. And what this means is you will have already, one of the prereqs is taking a 2.5-day Right Body for You class, okay? And then once you've taken the class, we're going to go to New Orleans, which I love this city. You know I had to have spent lives there because I came home. I feel like I come home to it every time, which is so funny. And I check my passport, which is another funny thing because I live in the U.S. and it's in the U.S. in theory. But I check for my passport every single time I go there, which is a funny story. But what it is I have designed all of these daily activities that really bring in the Right Body for You tools into play, into action. And then I get to be there to help you guys pod pocket to really fine-tune how to use some of these tools. So like Christine today is asking me questions like, wait a minute, you said this. What the freak does that mean? I'm going to be there to help you go, like, I don't know what my body is saying right now. Can you ask me some questions? Yes, I can, because I'll be shopping with you, or I'll be eating with you, or we have a bunch of fun activities planned. So it's only once this year, and it's the first time ever that it's not I've called this tagline of it, it's not a classroom, this is life, because that's what it is. We won't be in a classroom, we won't be in a room, we'll be out in life and exploring New Orleans, which I'm so excited to share that city with you guys. It's a very interesting city. So I hope you guys can join me, and you can go to Donnielle.com and check it out and learn more about it. But it should be a fun class. Like I said, it's the first of its kind.
It sounds amazing to me to actually, we often think about, a lot of times we go to these classes and we're like, yeah. And we leave and we're like, I don't know how to use this. And this class, like you said, it's the first one I've ever seen where we're actually going to be in the class, in the world, using it in the moments. And
yes, and then
very appealing.
I'll be there. And I'm excited to be there with you, to use it, to be with you guys, to help you fine tune that. And if because people are always like, I have a question, cool, I'll be there.
Fabulous.
Energetically, I'm always there, but word-wise, I'll be there. So I'm very excited about that. So check it out, Donnielle.com. And like I said, one of the prereqs is a 2.5-day workshop, but there's like 6 or 7 this year. I think you can find one. All right. So cool. Back to the judgment. All right. Back to the judgment. And you like how the energy just kind of went, ugh.
Dump.
Right? And this is part of what I'm talking about, trusting yourself, starting to become aware of that energy is just something like that. It's like, wow, that energy really shifted as soon as I said, okay, back to the judgment. Oof. What? Okay. So are you hearing an echo or is it just me?
No, I'm not hearing an echo. Do you want me to? I'll mute myself while you talk.
No. Then it's just me, which is fine.
Okay.
It's not. Anyways, we'll see. We'll figure it out. Back to the judgment. Boom, boom, boom. Such an energy drop. All right. So one of the things I want to talk about is interesting point of view. And everything that brings up, please destroy and uncreate it, guys. Right, wrong, good, bad, but nice, boys and girls, which is an example of the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And if you want to learn more about that, you can go to theclearingstatement.com, and it'll give you the information. Fortunately, you don't have to know what everything is for it to work. It just will. Because it's energy. It's all about energy, my friends. Okay, so interesting point of view is one of those tools that will help you get out of this judgment cycle, okay? But let me talk to you a little bit about interesting point of view. I know some of you are like, I know interesting point of view, okay? Cool. Feel that resistance and that intensity come up? That's kind of what I'm talking about. Let me give you a little bit more information on interesting point of view. Interesting point of view is basically when you say you have no point of view at all. And some of us misidentify this because it's like, where would you like to eat? I don't care. I have no point of view. which just, I don't know about you, but makes me want to slap some people. It's like, oh, what does your body require? You can have a preference, right? But when I'm talking about interesting point of view, what I'm talking about is, yes, you have no point of view, okay? But for me, it's back to that keyhole and that mountain type of thing. Having one point of view is a judgment. And what that is, for me, it's like standing at the base of a mountain with my face right up against the rock cliff of it, right against the base of it. So all you see is that small little area in front of you, okay? So you take one point of view, that's a judgment, okay? And that's all you see is right in front of you, what's through the keyhole or, all of those examples I've used. Having no point of view is literally standing on top of a mountain instead of at the base of the mountain, facing the mountain with that little bit of visibility. You stand at the top of the mountain and you can see everywhere and everything, okay? So this is what we're talking about with no point of view, is really to be in no judgment. So one of the greatest ways, I know it sounds silly and it sounds too easy, but if you just try it, it really does work. As long as you ask yourself, so if you find yourself judging or like, am I doing better yesterday or am I doing better today? Well, you can podpoc all of that judgment, which is the Access Conscious Clearing statement. And you can also go, okay, interesting point of view, I have that point of view, which really means interesting point of view, I have that judgment. Or really the interesting point of view is that energy of no judgment. Okay? And so it's almost like saying no judgment of the judgment. Okay? Do you guys get that? It's like interesting point of view. It means you have all points of view, which means you have no judgment. If you have one point of view, it means you have a judgment. So when you're saying something like interesting point of view, I have that point of view, you're really going, okay, space of no judgment, that I have that judgment. And what that does is it begins to unravel that place and space where you are using judgment to contract yourself. Because that's one of the biggest things about judgment is the doors and walls and all of that stuff, that you're contracting your universe to a limited point of view, to only one point of view, even on a scope, visibility. We talked about a lot today about visibility, like with your eyes, simply to give you that example that we can comprehend, that we can think about. Okay? So when you do this no point of view thing, it really is the space of no judgment. Okay? And I get some people are really getting lost on that. So let me give you another. They're like, let me give you one way that I use all the time is gratitude. Okay? This is actually magic. It's gratitude. Okay? Gratitude and judgment cannot coexist. If you guys are looking for like one of those magic wands out there to really change things, to like wave it and change it, gratitude is one of those things. When you have judgment of something, if you're willing to be and step into the energy of gratitude, it dissipates judgment. Plain and simple. It dissipates judgment. And let me talk a little bit more about this. What do I mean by gratitude? Okay. Gratitude is not a solidification or a contraction of one point of view. Okay. And I want to combine this with one of my other favorite tools of what part of this is awareness and what part of this is judgment. Okay. Right. One of the things you can, oh good, you're not unmuted. I was worried you had muted yourself trying to get rid of the echo. Okay, so there's two tools I'm going to kind of talk about in combination. What part of this is awareness, what part of this is judgment is one tool. And then gratitude is the second tool. Okay? You guys have heard me say judgment creates a solidification, judgment, decision, point of view. And so what this is anytime you decide anything, you judged what it is or what it isn't, nothing else that could come in can match your point of view, right? Okay, so when we're talking about what part of awareness and what part is judgment, one of the things we really do with ourselves is, actually, one of the things we're really going to do about ourselves, we're going to take a quick little break. And when we come back, I'm going to kind of delve into this. And I don't want to be interrupted, so I'm going to take this break so we can get to it and really talk about how to shift this judgment. Okay? All right, this is Donnielle. This is Right Body for You. And, sorry, one more time. This is Donnielle with guest Christine on the Right Body for You radio show on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
Okay, welcome back to Right Body for You. This is your host, Donnielle, joined today by, drumroll, Christine, if you guys haven't figured that one out yet. And today we're talking about, are we using judgment to get out of judgment? And we spent a lot of time really kind of explaining about what judgment is and what that, how that shows up differently. Because so many times we think, oh, we're doing so good, and yet we don't seem to be getting the change that we're asking for. And oftentimes it's this judgment thing that we're using judgment to get out of judgment, okay? So one of my favorite tools to really help shift this is what part of this is awareness and what part of this is judgment. Because when we ask a question, we invite the energies of possibility to happen. Because as I started explaining before the break, when we decide something, we judge something, we start cutting off possibilities. We start cutting off awareness. We start cutting, building those walls and doors, right? But when you ask a question, it opens those doors. It breaks down those walls. It's actually inviting the energy back in. So really one of the first things to change the judgment is to ask a question. And even if the question has a judgment in it, you know what? You started somewhere. Please don't judge yourself for I asked a question with a judgment. I'm so crap. I'm just this is so sad. You asked a question, it opens the door. It really does, okay? So any question asked is not wasted. And one of my favorite questions to ask about this is, what part of this is awareness and what part of this is judgment, okay? Say like you have you see somebody kind of being a jerk, being mean to another person, okay? So you go, oh, they're being such a jerk. Oh, I've just judged them. I'm so bad. I shouldn't do that. And then what happens is we throw away the awareness as well as the judgment of it, okay? So we, in essence, close the door. So people can be the energy of jerk. People can be the energy of, it's true, right? Or mean, or bitch,
Yep.
or they can be all these energies, but it's our judgment of it that makes it, that it throws it off balance, okay? So when you can say, oh my gosh, that person is being such a jerk, you can look and go like, okay, what part of this is awareness? What part of this is judgment? Oh, awareness is they're being a jerk. They're being that energy. Okay. The judgment is that they're right or wrong about doing it at all, or that we think we're bad because we're noticing and becoming aware that they're being the energy of jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in that way we begin to really become aware of the energies, what part is awareness and what part is the judgment that we're trying to put on our awareness. Because that's one of those things that happens is we judge our awarenesses instead of being, oh, that's what's going on. And I know we're running out of time. Christine, I need another hour. We should talk about that.
Okay, go. Go. Listen, I'm magic, but somebody else will kill me if we do that.
And here's the other part, that magic wand I told you about earlier with gratitude is gratitude and judgment cannot coexist. So in this example of what part awareness, what part is judgment, it's like instead of judging them as right or wrong for being a jerk, what you can be is grateful that you have the awareness that there are this energy, because then you know how to interact with them. And it's not so much about, oh, I'm grateful, I know they're a jerk so I can avoid them. That's all judgment. That's still that right or wrong. But you can be grateful for becoming aware of how they act. It's like, oh, well, then I know how to interact with them, or if I choose to interact with them or not. So you can be grateful for the information, and that really helps shift that. It really helps shift that energy, so you start becoming aware of it, and you start becoming aware of what part was unawareness and where you begin judging. And when you start doing that more with your interactions with people, you also start to become aware of the energy that when you're doing it to you. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I didn't mean I need another energy hour right now. I meant like I may talk Christine into doing a 2-hour radio show someday.
There definitely was a change in the energy that I was aware of as we've been doing this show, and it got heavier, which is interesting because I received more clarity I received more clarity, cognitive clarity, as you continued to look at it, and yet it got heavier. So I'm wondering how many people out there are really desiring it and yet not having the real step-by-step tools on how to really truly get out of it.
And I know I came up against some of those doors, which is honestly being aware of energy, you guys. That's why I took a break, was to be able to help shift that energy. Because I know when you hit up against some of these things, it's like, but I love that wall. That wall has saved my life.
Yeah.
That it's so we shifted the energy by taking the break. So, and yes, we need to do the show again. Maybe I could do a telecall on it. I think that's where Christine was going. We can really, yes, it was. We could really look at this. But you guys, you know what? Thank you for joining me and Christine on this journey. Thank you for coming on, Christine. It's always fun to play with you. Make it a happy week, a fun week. See you guys next week. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Right Body for You. Donnielle will return next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you and your body will join us. Until then, have fun.